Get ready, because today we are diving headfirst into a humble bowl of Taiwanese street food. But trust me, this is no ordinary dish. It holds an entire universe of history, passion, and, dare I say it, belief. You hear this call echoing from food stalls all over Taiwan. And while it sounds like a simple order, it's actually so much more than that. Think of it as a secret password. It's your ticket into a fascinating cultural phenomenon with roots that go back centuries. And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Is this just a quick, delicious snack, or is it something far more profound? We're about to explore how this one dish became the object of what you could almost call a culinary religion for its most passionate fans. That's right, we are peeling back the layers on what its followers playfully call the Omems cult. It's a whole belief system built around a single bowl of noodles, and you know what? By the end of this, you just might become a convert yourself. So, to really understand this faith, we have to start at the beginning. We need to go back in time to see how this incredibly complex and beloved dish was born from the absolute simplest of beginnings. The journey of this dish is pretty amazing. It started out as a really basic noodle paste, something brought over by immigrants. But then, in Taiwan, it started to change. Women in the coastal areas, looking for a way to give hardworking farmers more energy, started adding these plump local oysters. And from there, well, that's when things got really interesting, leading to a split that created two totally distinct traditions we see today. And this right here shows you that north-south split perfectly. Down south, where they're closer to the coast, it's all about celebrating the fresh, sweet flavor of those beautiful oysters. But as you head north, things get heartier. The preference shifts to these rich, savory additions like braised large intestines. It's just a perfect example of how a region's local food shapes its entire palate. But here's the thing. No matter which style you prefer, one ingredient is totally non-negotiable: the Taiwanese red vermicelli. And this isn't just any noodle. It's steamed at super high temperatures, which gives it that signature color and, more importantly, lets it cook for a long time without turning to mush. This stuff is unique to Taiwan, and it is the absolute soul of the dish. Okay, so we've covered the history of the food itself. Now, let's talk about the people who are so devoted to it today. It's time to go inside the OAM's cult and understand their daily rituals. So what in the world is this OAMS cult? Well, OAMs is just short for oyster and large intestine vermicelli, and Shenjiao basically means religion or divine teaching. It's a really fun, affectionate name for the diehard fans who treat this dish with a reverence that goes way, way beyond your typical foodie obsession. And you know, every good religion has its rituals, right? For the OAM's believers, there's the pilgrimage, traveling all over Taiwan just to find that one perfect bowl. Then you have the act of worship, standing at your favorite stall and carefully, almost piously, adding just the right amount of garlic, cilantro, and vinegar. And finally, the creed, their core belief. A real bowl must have both oysters and large intestine, period. All right, you get the history, you know the faith. Now it's time to learn the sacred craft itself. We're going to break down the key techniques you need to make a bowl that is truly divine. Okay, you're going to want to pay close attention here, because this is where the real magic happens. You start with a rich bonito broth. You take your fresh oysters and coat them in starch to keep them moist. But here's the secret, the most crucial part. You thicken the soup first. Then you kill the heat completely and gently place the oysters into that hot soup. The residual heat poaches them perfectly, keeping them unbelievably tender and plump. It's a total game changer. But wait, we're not done yet. Making the perfect bowl doesn't stop with the cooking. We've reached the final stage. The elements that give the dish its final blessing and take it from just good to something truly heavenly. And that blessing comes in the form of what believers call the Holy Trinity of condiments. You've got your fresh minced garlic, bright cilantro, and the all-important black vinegar. In fact, the black vinegar is so essential, it's often called the sacred oil. It's that final touch that just ties all the flavors together perfectly. And all of this brings us right back to that core belief, the central pillar of this entire faith. For any true devotee, this is the absolute truth. To be whole, to be perfect, a bowl of vermicelli must have both the treasures of the sea and the richness of the land. One without the other, it's just incomplete. So you see, this is so much more than just a quick meal. When you eat a bowl of oyster vermicelli, you're literally tasting centuries of history. You're taking part in a community ritual, and you're connecting with a fundamental piece of Taiwanese cultural identity, all in one bowl.
So, I'll leave you with this. The next time you find yourself standing in front of a steaming bowl of oyster vermicelli, are you going to see it as just lunch? Or will you now be able to taste it for what it truly is? A delicious, living, breathing piece of history.